What's up, reefers? Maintenance day, and gonna go over just my water change real quick. um, Nutrients have been coming up and going down, so that's good. I now have my algae reactor cut back to 4 hours. Might even just have to take it offline, which is fine with me. But today is all about the water change. So I'm gonna knock that out real quick, and I'll talk a little bit after and show you guys some close-ups of the corals. I'm starting to get a little bit more color in a couple of them, so they look really good. I already turned off all the return, and my algae reactor and my heater is all turned off already. I'm just going to turn off my flow. I always put it in feed mode because it usually doesn't take me much longer than 10 minutes to be able to do this. So this is what I'm going to do today. And two bucket method. I'm gonna take my sweatshirt off, but I'm gonna try no time lapse today, and so you guys can kind of see how relatively easy it is to maintain your reef system. I'm not gonna pick, the bubble algae and stuff today. I'm gonna leave that alone. I got 2 emeralds in there now. It's a lot, but see if they can't help out and go from there. Okay. So, first things first, what I usually do is, if it's a regular water change without gravel vacuuming, I'll put it in the middle chamber out back here and just suck it dry. But today I am gravel vacuuming a little bit. I can't go too crazy because I got a bunch of stuff. I got some shells and stuff up there, but I'll get some gravel back going and we'll go from there. Turn that off. I only use that fan right now just to help cool my light. Doesn't need it, but the cooler they run, the better they run. So. Alright, all I do is simply control the end like that. And I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to try and get out of the way as best I can. But you let your finger off. And then you just let it drop. You might get some extra sand to come down, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. Gotta be careful of the chalice. You can go, and you can get, quite a bit of the gravel done just doing this, because you're in control of it. So, cover up my mushroom a little bit. It's not the end of the world. But you can see how the particles separate. So that is what I'm doing, is just trying to separate the particles, the small stuff from the sand. It's almost like a little plume cloud. And again, you don't need to get everything, you just gotta try and get a decent amount and go from there. And I'm being kind of quiet, actually. You guys might not be able to hear too well, but again, this is not something I do all the time. I do it you know, every other week, sometimes even longer than that. Just because it's such a small sand bed, and I don't want to go like crazy and kill like all the bacteria that's in here. But I also want to vacuum it up so it doesn't look, you know, untidy, I guess you would say. And that's about all I'm going to do today on the sand bed wise. And I usually go about 2.5 gallons. I got a 5-gallon bucket. I fill it right up to the top every time. So I'm guessing it's probably like 2.25, 2.5. But today we'll just finish up this siphon. And then we'll fill it back up with water. I pre-mix my water always ahead, at least 2 weeks in advance, because I can get 2 water changes out of each bucket, basically. So I set this water change up last week, right after I did my other one, and it's the same thing every time. I have it set to a cup method, so there's no like really any guessing. You don't have to guess the salinity. It's all set up in a cup, and yeah, I mean it's pretty simple. Once you get it figured out, these things are not hard to keep up on. I would say that this is probably the #1 thing for most people that are new in this hobby is do your water change. You know, don't skip it. Don't think, you know, because other people can get away without doing a water change, that you can too. You know, yes, maybe down the road you might be able to, but right now just do the water change. Tank should always look a lot happier after doing the water change. And you know, nothing crazy. The only thing I do is, don't mind the kiddos downstairs, they're going crazy. I always try to get my bucket as high or at least close to the same height as the tank. And that's because I just use my other pump that's inside of it to pump the water back in. I'll take my Velcro straps off. Best thing you can have. Works for wires, works for your tubing. Keep it around. Push right onto that. Make sure you cover your end before you plug it in. Plug it in, and she's ready to go. Now, on my phone, I have the app, which you guys will probably see in the beginning of this video, where I can turn it all on and off right on the app. So actually, I'm going to show you that real quick. And then I turn it right back on the same way. So, I'm going to fill this up, and then I'll take a little quick video of me turning it back on, and then it's done. And that is the maintenance of these tanks. You know, sure, you got to clean your filter socks or filter pads, change your carbon or stuff like that, but these tanks can be run no carbon. They can be run without filter pads. I mean, there's a guy online, Danny Aquariums on YouTube. He has no filtration whatsoever. It's literally live rock, no filter, that's it. His tanks look beautiful. They work what they're supposed to do. And again, everybody's tank is different. But this right here is a beginner's friendly way to get success in the hobby. Do your water changes, do them regularly. That's pretty much about it. I mean, there's really not much to it. It's hard to explain to people you know, because with saltwater tanks, they think they're the hardest things in the world. But if you're just running softies and LPS, you usually don't even need to go crazy. I mean, even on this setup, all I have is kalkwasser in my auto top off. That's it. No other dosing right now. Water change once a week usually fixes everything. So I'm gonna pause the video real quick, and then I'm gonna turn everything on. Alright, everything's running. You always want to fill it back up to the same spot in your rear chamber that it was. It's a little tricky to do that, just to get it close, but if you got a line, like in my tank there's a line, you'll have like, you know, scum that builds up around the tank over time. There's a line, just, you know, fill it back up to there. That's why having a pump and a hose, perfect. When you get to the point where you think it might be close, you just plug the end. You let the system do its thing, cycle around, and that's perfect. Let the water back in. I like to blow it out if I can. Get as much water out of the line as possible, because on my tank I just keep my lines right up out back on top of my auto top off, so nothing crazy. But that is pretty much the bulk of maintenance that you need to do on a Mainereef tank. Let's see here. I'll get you guys in a little closer so you guys can see it here. It's a little bright right now, but it's midday. I never shut my lights off. It's you got plenty of time. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, your lights are never gonna burn out the corals if you're doing your water change within 10 minutes. And that's what feed mode is, and it's already kicked back on. I don't even need to do anything. Coming up on 1 year on this, the Higer. I'll probably do a video here soon on that. But that is how quick you can do a water change in one of these tanks. There's nothing to it. You got a 2-bucket method. I do have my own RODI system, so that's different. Most people don't have their own. But still, you can go to like Walmart or your shopping center and buy distilled and be perfectly fine. It's nothing that you can't do yourself. And that's about it. The Forest Fire Digi is starting to color up again. I think I said it a couple weeks ago in a video. But everything is starting to slowly come around. And with these nano tanks, you really gotta go slow, because you don't want to shock the system. So you want to take it as slow as possible, but also be proactive. So if you see an issue, start addressing it. Don't let it go down. You know, don't kick the can down the road, kind of thing. But other than that, I mean, I got some absolutely insane growth on the Setosa. As you can see, it's foggy because I just did the change, but this acro right here, I'm not even sure what it is, but it's starting to color up really nice. It's got a green skin with like gold polyps starting to come through. The Oregon Tort, what can you say? It's just bright blue. This guy right here is starting to purple up really well, encrusting very well. This one right here, I got from a buddy Paul about 10 minutes away, probably about 20 minutes away. He lives in Bethel, Maine, and this was blue. This is how much in your tank, how much can change, you know, from tank to tank. He had Kessels, I think, and maybe like a Reef Bright strips with it, and this was blue when I first put it in. Now it's a green. which I don't mind. I got a few green, but nothing crazy. I got the frag rack. That's the one from TSA. I can't remember what it's called, Mr. Something, but I like the color of it, and it's full colony, and it was beautiful. We got the bubblegum digi up there, which I got from Paul. Forest Fire digi frags, and that's about it. I mean, other than that, slow and steady. Stick to your course, you know. Do your water changes, and the tanks will come around. I mean, not everybody's tank is going to be perfect. You know, some people have massive algae outbreaks that kind of push them away from the hobby, but in reality, you know, you just keep doing those water changes, manual removal as much as possible, and things will go in the right direction for you. I hope this video helped you out. If you have any questions or anything like that, or even some advice. I love advice. It always works. That's the good thing about this hobby, is that you're always learning, you're always adapting to something new. And you know, like I said before, if I can't get my nitrates to come up after I take or cut back on my algae reactor, maybe I'm going to start dosing nitrates to be able to get those levels up. But as of right now, I don't want to go too crazy because everything else looks great. The Forest Fire Digi has good polyp extension. It's a little dark green on the skin. It's not like a bright, vibrant, kind of like the bubblegum Digi right there, but it'll come around, and I'm not really worried about that too much. I figure that it probably will, no problem. But yeah, you guys got any questions or anything, just hit me up in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.